This is breaking news from RTV6, working for you.
3 Southport High School students have been arrested and now face expulsion following an attack on a classmate in a school bathroom.
Yeah, the disturbing incident was caught on video, as you see here. The male student can be seen cornered in the bathroom with other students, repeatedly punching him and hitting him with a belt. Well, as this went on, others in the bathroom were using their cell phones to capture the incident on video. Perry Township School sent a message to parents. In it, the district assures parents they will not tolerate this type of behavior, and they say the students who witnessed and recorded the attack will also face discipline. We're working on this story right now, getting reaction and gathering more details for you. You'll want to look for the very latest on RTV6 News at 11. An investigation is underway right now after a popular playground is damaged by fire. The toddler section at Holiday Park on the north side is closed to the public and surrounded by police tape. RTV6's Megan Santorum found out why some are so upset by the damage and what investigators are now saying.
Charred and mangled metal. This is what part of the playground at Holiday Park looks like right now. The cause, still unknown. Park leaders tell us they believe the fire happened late Tuesday night.
It was shocking. I was really disturbed by that.
Parents here today say they don't understand why anyone would want to destroy something that kids play on. Megan Springs says her 4- and 5-year-old kids love this section of the playground.
Yeah, that's their favorite part. It's just the right size for them.
But today, they had to look at it through the fence and find somewhere else to play.
Why is always the question. Why does somebody want to do that? Is it just for fun? And if it happens spontaneously, I'm not really sure how.
That is exactly what investigators are trying to figure out.
No one kind of saw anything, so we're kind of relying on the investigators to try to piece together maybe what could have caused this. I love this park, so when anything happens to it, I take it personally. It's just kind of upsetting, and it's going to be a lot of hard work to get it back to where it was.
She says they are still assessing the damage, but they plan to repair or replace this section of the playground as soon as possible. Working for you, Megan Santorum, RTV6.
Well, according to the Indianapolis Fire Department, this is still an active investigation. The remainder of Holiday Park and other sections of the playground are still open to the public.
Tonight, the city of Indianapolis is trying to get a handle on what one shelter is calling an eviction crisis. And this effort could be all hands on deck. RTV6's Troy Washington looks at what it will take to cut the alarming wrongful eviction rate.
Shelters often have to turn away families because they just don't have the room, leaving hardworking families and children out in the cold without a place to go in some cases.
Family Promise, Veronica speaking. I'm sorry, currently don't have any space available at our shelter.
We turn away about 10 families a day because we're full at capacity all the time. So are the other family shelters in Indianapolis.
Mike Chapman calls it an eviction crisis, feeling stuck and unable to help families who come through his doors at the Family Promise of Greater Indianapolis Shelter Program, known as the Interfaith Hospitality Network. He decided to get to the root of what's going on.
We have more evictions than Chicago and Los Angeles combined, despite only having a third of Chicago's population.
Princeton University recently released findings that places Indianapolis up there when it comes to eviction rates. Kelly McGee knows the struggle of battling an eviction. She, her husband, and their 6 kids have been searching for housing to no avail, all because of a past encounter where a landlord cut off the lights, changed the locks, and gave no choice but to move. The eye-opening experience left the family more informed about the eviction process, but still out in the cold, searching for a place to call home.
We work full-time, but we're not rich. So each place that you apply to, there's application fees. So to keep putting application fees in and then get denied.
McGee says had she been more informed, she could have protected her family. The city says they are aware that more needs to be done to help the tenant-landlord relationship. And in fact, an eviction prevention fund is already in the works. Working for you, Troy Washington, RTV6.
Family Promise of Greater Indianapolis is holding an event on the 19th, hoping to get the attention of city leaders and legislators. The goal is not only to discuss the problem, but also to make sure it gets addressed.
7:03 on this dry Friday night. Hopefully you saw the beautiful sunset. 3 ingredients to a cold night tonight. One is the clear sky, light wind, and then also right here, very dry air. That sets the stage for these temperatures to fall off rather quickly this evening. Sunset at 5:36. Temperature at kickoff for the high school games right at 30 degrees, dropping into the mid-20s by the time the games will end. Of course, Dave and Brad will have all the highlights for you at 11 tonight. Another cold night. Temperatures lower 20s. Could be some spots that still sneak into the teens. We'll see mid to high level clouds kind of stop the drop in temperatures as we go through the overnight. Tomorrow, during the afternoon hours, a mixture of clouds and sunshine, we make some progress. Temperatures do reach the mid-40s for an afternoon high, then fall back tomorrow night only into the 30s. The difference tomorrow, the wind, it will be stronger out of the southwest, gusting to 20 miles per hour. That starts to draw in the warmer temperatures and eventually leads us to the warmer day Sunday. We'll talk about Sunday changes, our snow potential to begin next week, and when we'll see near record lows.
Help is just a call away. A Central Indiana Crisis Service agency is focusing on more local efforts as winter ramps up. RTV6's Stephanie Wade explains where you can turn and who you can call for assistance.
24 hours a day, folks are here at this crisis hotline center just waiting to help you with pretty much anything. New this winter, they'll have a new number and more programs that you can take advantage of.
We started as a grassroots organization in Central Indiana, and we are basically returning to that. We want to engage folks that we are geographically closest to.
From food, shelter, utility help to substance abuse, mental health, and suicide prevention, Connect to Help has been helping the people of Indiana for decades. More recently, they've been doing so by partnering with 211. So when you call that number in Central Indiana, you'd reach them, and they'd help connect you with services. The CEO says nationally, though, only 16% of people actually know what 211 is. Wanting to focus more locally, they've decided to separate from 211 and use their original phone number, 317-926-HELP, instead.
This is Mietta calling from Connect to Help on behalf of Meals on Wheels.
That's not all that's new. This week began a new partnership with Meals on Wheels, where they call and check in on their hundreds of clients to see what other challenges they may be having.
People are getting the resources that they need because we're making these calls that now Connect to Help is going to be assisting us with.
Community partners coming together and trying to get the word out about everything you can receive assistance for this winter. Working for you, Stephanie Wade, RTV6.
Connect to Help also needs more volunteers to answer phones and more specifically the suicide hotline. Head over to their website at connecttohelp.org.
Well, Monday is Veterans Day, but the Carmel City leaders aren't waiting until then to say thanks.
American servicemen and women have been on the front lines of protecting our freedom and defending our unique way of life for all of these 243 years.
Young people played a prominent role in a special ceremony today for veterans at the Center for Performing Arts. The citywide Thank You for Your Service poster and essay contest winners were recognized, and students read their winning essays at the ceremony. Today's special ceremony included city leaders, members of the military, and the general public. Also performances from the Orchard Park Elementary School Choir and the Actors Theater of Indiana. Monumental Marathon runners, you have until 8 o'clock to pick up your race packet. You have to have that packet in order to lace up your shoes for the Monumental in the morning. You can get your packet at Hall A inside the Indiana Convention Center. The Monumental Marathon is one of the 15 largest marathons in the U.S. It begins 8 a.m. Saturday on Washington Street near the Indiana State Museum. A heads up, if you ride the Red Line, that marathon will impact the Red Line bus system. Indigo will operate modified routes during the race. It will operate in 2 segments, one north of 38th Street and one south of 38th Street. There's more information on how this will work at our website, theindychannel.com. Now coming up here on RTV6, a look inside a new book that goes inside the White House. The allegations being made by the anonymous author.
Plus, federal health officials may have discovered the exact cause of the national outbreak of vaping-related illnesses.
Proceeds that night will be donated to our toy drive.
This is RTV6 News at 7, working for you.
An Oklahoma woman is out of prison after serving more time for failing to protect her children than the man who actually abused them. Tundalau Hall was serving a 30-year sentence. The judge commuted that sentence, and today Hall walked free from the prison. Hall pleaded guilty in 2006 to failing to protect two of her children whom were abused by her boyfriend, Robert Braxton Jr. He was released on probation after receiving credit for 2 years he had already spent in jail. Hall served 13 years. Critics say the case is an example of how failure to protect laws unfairly punish domestic violence victims. Turning now to that new book about the Trump White House, reportedly from an insider and published under the name Anonymous.
Tonight we are getting new details ahead of publication. More now from ABC's Rachel Scott.
This morning, a look inside the book depicting chaos inside the Trump White House, written by an anonymous author, described only as a senior administration official. The Washington Post obtaining an early copy of the book entitled Warning. The pages inside reportedly tell the story of an out-of-control president, claiming senior administration officials were so alarmed by his behavior, they considered a mass resignation and protest, but didn't go through with it because they believed it would cause even more disorder. This isn't the first time the author penned an anonymous op-ed. That unidentified official also wrote a New York Times opinion column last year, alleging that numerous people in the government were resisting the, quote, misguided impulses of Trump. The Trump administration pushed back then and is pushing back now.
The very notion of this anonymous who wrote an editorial now, it's reported that they've written the book, is just appalling to me. If there's someone in our administration or served in our administration that doesn't support this president, doesn't support his agenda, they should do the honorable thing and resign.
In this new book, according to the Washington Post, the author describes the president as reckless, like, quote, a 12-year-old in an air traffic control tower, pushing the buttons of government indiscriminately, indifferent to the planes skidding across the runway and the flights frantically diverting away from the airport. The president is described as making racist and misogynist comments when speaking of migrants crossing the border, according to the book, saying in part, they are useless. They don't do anything for our country. At least if they came in with a husband, we could put them in the fields to pick corn or something. The book is not out for another 11 days, but White House Press Secretary Stephanie Grisham released a statement calling the author a coward and calling the book a work of fiction. Rachel Scott, ABC News, Washington.
The CDC says it is making progress in the investigation into vaping lung injuries and deaths. They say vitamin E acetate in combination with THC may be to blame for the national outbreak of e-cigarette lung injuries. THC is an ingredient in marijuana. Despite calling this revelation a breakthrough, the CDC says more tests need to be done. Officials say the initial findings do not eliminate other ingredients as a cause of harm.
Now just ahead, two beloved pop stars plan to put a new spin on a classic holiday song. Why the remake is facing criticism.
I don't know how you feel about it, but if it's going to be cold, would you like to have some snow to go with it? It looks like that's exactly the situation on Monday. We'll talk about our snow potential and near record lows.
DealDealers.com.
Welcome back. There is growing backlash tonight over an updated version of a Christmas music classic.
John Legend and Kelly Clarkson released a remake of the 1940 song Baby It's Cold Outside at Midnight, but with changes to some of the lyrics meant to address concerns about the song's message.
ABC's Marcy Gonzalez reports from Los Angeles.
You know, on second this controversial holiday classic,
Baby, it's cold
getting
outside.
a Me Too era update.
Baby, it's cold outside.
After criticism calling the original Baby It's Cold Outside inappropriate with a man trying to convince a woman to stay with him despite her objections, John Legend and Kelly Clarkson releasing a reimagined version with some changes to those well-known lyrics.
Saying no, no, no.
Mind if I'm moving close?
At least I'm gonna say that I tried.
What's the sense of hurting my pride?
Say no, no.
Then you really ought to go. Well, Murray, he just pulled up outside.
And this line,
Say what's in this
No
dream?
cabs to be had out there.
now replaced with,
I have one more dream.
It's your body and your choice.
So last year, radio stations were refusing to play Baby It's Cold Outside. I think what John Legend was trying to do here was just give us an updated classic that maybe people would feel better playing around the holidays.
But critics were quick to react, calling the rewrites absurd. Among those questioning this updated version, Deanna Martin, daughter of Dean Martin, who popularized the song in 1959.
I don't think that John Legend should have changed the lyrics. I think leave a tender moment alone.
And John Legend responding on Twitter saying he'll leave it up to fans to decide whether this is political correctness run amok, as some have described it, or in his words, a welcome update. Marcy Gonzalez, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Well, whatever the case may be, it is cold outside.
Yes, and it will warm up a bit over the weekend, and then bottom drops out again early next week. It's been a decent Friday. Hope you enjoyed that sunshine and the good-looking sunset. As we head to the weekend, 44 tomorrow. We make a little temperature progress. Noticeably warmer on Sunday. We'll see more clouds increase through the day out ahead of a strong cold front. By Sunday night, colder air will sit just to the northwest, but we'll at least make it into the 50s. The bottom drops out overnight. Here comes the cold front. That will open the door to Canadian air coming in on a northwest wind. Falling temperatures all day on Monday. As we get to Monday afternoon, I think temperatures fall below freezing. Certainly by evening, they'll stay below freezing right until Thursday morning. Afternoon high temperatures stay in the 20s, as you can see Tuesday and Wednesday. These will be colder days than a typical January day, where the average high is still in the 30s. 11 o'clock Sunday night, lots of cloud cover. We wake up Sunday morning, snow to the north as the cold air is invading. Some light rain showers possible south of Interstate 70. Cold air catches the moisture. Snow showers, light snow likely as we go through the afternoon into the early evening with some light accumulation potential. Keep our eye on that. Not expecting a whole lot, but the ground will be colder, more receptive to that sticking. Tuesday morning, 17, the predicted low, the record 14 degrees. It will be colder, closer to that record low once again as we get Wednesday at 14, the predicted low temperature. Right now, we're dry, cold with a light wind, 30 in Indianapolis, but western portion of the state anywhere along 231 from Lafayette down to Greencastle, upper 20s. It's 27 also in Richmond. Temperatures from Bloomington to Bedford also in the upper 20s. Through the evening, we continue to fall. The wind stays light. That helps out a bit. I think we'll see some mid and high level clouds level off the cooling. We'll be in the low 20s in the morning. During the day tomorrow, one big change, the wind. It'll be stronger out of the southwest, gusting to 20 miles per hour. Temperature by noon recovers to 40 degrees. Afternoon temperature 44. Most places for the afternoon high. Sunday, as we mentioned, more in the way of cloud cover, but we stay dry. 53, the afternoon high temperature. Most areas by lunchtime will push 50 degrees. As we get to Sunday, temperatures anywhere in the region, lower 50s. These are the warmest temperatures that we'll see, it looks like, for at least a couple of weeks. Here's your 7-day forecast. Veterans Day, rain changing to snow, some light accumulation, dry and very cold. As we get Tuesday and Wednesday, we start to recover Thursday and Friday.
So you were on the Circle yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
And
I forgot about this.
You forgot about that part?
Well, I can't totally explain all of this, but the light shines tomorrow, right?
Right. Yeah. That event that a lot of people are going to go to on the Circle.
Yeah, so there's a whole new production, and I just happened to be caught in portions of it, and so I joined in. It was hard to even fake it for that long. That was the end of Back Home Again in Indiana.
Yeah, John Cornelison.
So Shine On, and then tomorrow, right?
Right.
In the evening hours, there's a whole, from 4 to about 7:30, they'll unveil all of kind of the new look and feel.
Right.
The symphony will be there and everything. It'll be lots of fun if you can make it out. And it's a free event, something to plan for.
And you can hold the note. We'll be right back.
2019 Armada.
Attention sky gazers, Monday is the day to watch Mercury glide across the sun. The rare event is called a transit. It only happens about 13 times per century, and the next one is not set to happen again until 2032. Mercury will look like a tiny black dot on the sun starting at around 7:35 a.m. Eastern time. Make sure you don't look directly at the sun. You can damage your eyes. The U.S. Marines is loosening up their dress code just a little bit. The updated dress code allows Marines to use a small black folding umbrella while wearing their service and dress uniforms. They must hold it in their left hand so they can still properly salute. The new dress code also allows women to wear silver stud earrings.
Well, the Salvation Army's 2019 Red Kettle campaign is getting underway, and here's a sign that's hard to miss. Once again, they've installed the world's largest red kettle in Detroit. The kettle is 56 feet tall, 24 feet wide, and has 26,000 LED lights on full display. Well, this year, the Salvation Army has introduced a new way to donate called Kettle Pay. That means if you don't have cash, you can still donate at the Red Kettle through Apple or Google Pay by tapping their mobile device to the special sign. No excuses, everybody. Yeah.
That's awesome. Shining a Light is what it's called on Monument Circle, and it will project kind of a salute to veterans just in time for Veterans Day, and you can see it all next week.
Yeah,
as
it's
well.
going to be
Sure,
great.
it'll be very beautiful. All right.
Oh, temperatures in the 50s Sunday.
Weather, Kevin.
I forgot my